My Medicare Part B premium went up $64 a month last January. I found out by looking at my bank statement. Nobody called to explain it, just a bigger deduction out of my Social Security check month after month. So why does the government charge some people more for the same Medicare coverage? The answer is a rule called IRMAA, Income Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. SSA looks at your income from 2 years ago, and if it was above a certain level, they add a surcharge on top of your base Part B premium. The number they use comes directly off your federal tax return. They do not call to explain the adjustment. Your statement simply reflects the higher amount. What nobody explained to me was that a one-page form could trigger a review of that surcharge. They mailed the bill. The form that might lower it, that one had to be found on my own. There is no money in teaching you the cheap answer. The SSA office does not hand you Form SSA-44 when you walk in to ask about your premium. They answer the question you ask. You have to know to name the form first. My name is Dale Corbin. I am 68, and I am not a lawyer, and I am not from the government. I read the forms myself because I had to. This is how to check whether you may qualify. Treat it as a starting point and verify everything at ssa.gov or medicare.gov before you count on it. Here is what I will walk you through. What IRMAA is and how the look-back works. The 8 life-changing events that may let you use Form SSA-44. A 10-minute check on your own numbers. The exact steps to file, and the honest limitations, because this is not a magic switch. By the end of this, you will know whether it is worth an hour of your time. But this does not start with a Medicare bill. It starts with a good year. A year where income was a little higher than usual, maybe a one-time distribution, a spouse still working, a property sale. A year that is now 2 years behind you, and SSA is still charging you for it. Medicare Part B covers your doctor visits and outpatient care. In 2025, the standard base premium was $185 a month. Check Medicare.gov for the current 2026 figure, because these numbers are updated each year, and what I say here may already be out of date by the time you watch this. That base amount is what most enrolled people pay. But if your modified adjusted gross income crossed a certain threshold 2 years back, SSA adds a surcharge on top. The surcharges come in tiers. Each income bracket above the base threshold carries a higher monthly add-on. The difference between brackets can mean paying significantly more per month for the same Part B coverage. Verify the current bracket amounts at ssa.gov before you run your numbers. Modified adjusted gross income is not the same as what you think of as your income. It is your adjusted gross income from your Form 1040 plus any tax-exempt interest you received. Find adjusted gross income on line 11 of your 1040. Tax-exempt interest is on Schedule B, line 2A. Add those two numbers. That combined total is your MAGI. Think about what that means for someone who retires in January of 2025. For most of 2024, they had a full paycheck coming in, maybe a bonus, a second job winding down. SSA adds all of that up and uses it to set your 2026 premium. You have been retired for a year and a half, living on Social Security and savings, and SSA is still charging you as if you were at your desk. Some people have not noticed that their premium increase came from IRMAA at all. SSA does send a notice when they first apply a surcharge. It arrives separately from your regular Medicare premium notice. If you never saw that letter, check your records or call SSA and ask which income year they used to set your current premium. That call takes 5 minutes and the number is 1-800-7721-213. Everything was in place to fix this. The mechanism existed. Almost nobody knew what they were building toward when they had that one big year. Form SSA-44 is how you make that case to SSA. The year they are using is behind you, and you have a qualifying reason why. But the version you have heard of IRMAA relief is probably not the full picture. SSA does not let you file Form SSA-44 simply because your income went down. The income has to have dropped because of one of 8 specific life-changing events. If one of these applies to you, you may qualify. If none of them apply, you will wait for the 2-year look-back to cycle through on its own. Here are the 8 events, taken directly from the SSA-44 form instructions. Cross-check these at ssa.gov. The first 3 are marriage, divorce or annulment, and death of a spouse. If any of those describe a change in your life, that event may qualify you on its own. The 4th is work stoppage. You or your spouse stopped working entirely. The 5th is work reduction. You or your spouse reduced hours and income dropped as a result. The 6th is loss of income-producing property. A fire, a natural disaster, or a foreclosure took away property that was generating income through no fault of your own. The 7th is loss of pension income. A pension was reduced or eliminated. The 8th is employer settlement payment. A former employer paid a one-time settlement that pushed your income up in the base year, and that event is now behind you. The 2 that come up most often for people watching this are the 4th and 5th. You stopped working or you cut back. Your income this year looks nothing like your income 2 years ago. Put it this way, if you retired in 2024, part of that year still had a paycheck coming in. SSA is looking at your 2024 return right now to set your 2026 premium. SSA 44 lets you tell SSA the job is gone. Here is my actual income now. This is where the process takes a turn most people miss. Submitting SSA 44 does not automatically lower your premium. SSA will ask for an estimate of your income for the current year. If your actual income comes in above that estimate, they can adjust your premium retroactively. So be careful and honest with your estimate. Round up rather than down if you are uncertain. You would think someone at the SSA window would mention this form when you come in to ask about your premium. Most of the time, nobody does. You have a window here. SSA processes these on a rolling basis, and every month you wait is another month at the higher rate. So let me walk through the check. Start by pulling out your last 2 federal tax returns. For 2026 premiums, SSA is currently using your 2024 return. Find line 11 of your Form 1040. That is your adjusted gross income. Then look at Schedule B, line 2A, which is tax-exempt interest. Add those 2 numbers. That combined figure is your MAGI for 2024. Write it down. Then go to ssa.gov and search for IRMAA. You will find the current income brackets and the premium amounts for each tier. Compare your MAGI to the thresholds for your filing status. Single filers and married filing jointly have different thresholds. Verify the current year figures before you act on them because they change each year, and I cannot guarantee the numbers I know today are still current. Next, estimate your income for this year. Add everything up: Social Security payments, any pension, any retirement account withdrawals you plan to take, any interest or dividends. That estimated total is what goes on the SSA 44 form. Finally, pull your most recent Medicare or Social Security statement and confirm which IRMAA tier you are currently being charged. That is your starting point. Form SSA 44 is asking SSA to move you to a lower tier or back to the base premium entirely. In a few months, when SSA processes your form, you will understand exactly what that estimate meant. If your income comes in below your estimate, SSA may apply premium credits to future billing. If it comes in above, you will not owe anything beyond your current rate. The risk runs one direction. And somehow there is still one more piece that catches people. If your estimated income drops you all the way below the base IRMAA threshold, SSA should reset you to the base premium. But you have to file the form. SSA does not do this automatically. If this video is helping you work through your numbers, take a second and subscribe. I put out a new video every week on benefits and billing that the government never explains plainly. There is no cost, and you can unsubscribe anytime. All right, the form itself is 4 pages, but most of that is instructions. The portion you fill in runs about 2 pages. Download Form SSA-44 from ssa.gov. Go to the Forms section and search SSA-44. The instructions are attached to the same document. Read them before you fill anything out, because they tell you exactly what documentation SSA requires for the event you are claiming. The form asks for your name and Social Security number, your Medicare beneficiary identifier, which is the ID number printed on your red, white, and blue Medicare card, the qualifying life-changing event you are claiming, chosen from a checklist on the form, and your estimate of your income for the current year. The documentation varies by event. For work stoppage or reduction, bring a letter from your former employer showing the date you stopped or cut back, or your final pay stub. For death of a spouse, a death certificate. For divorce or annulment, the divorce decree. For loss of a pension, a letter from the plan administrator showing the change. The form instructions list exactly what SSA accepts for each situation. Check that section before you make the trip. You have 2 filing options. Take the completed form and your documentation to your local Social Security office in person, or mail the package to that same address. In person is a better choice. You get confirmation on the spot, and a representative can answer questions while you are there. If you want to call ahead, the number is 1-800-772-1213. That is Social Security's main line. When a representative answers, start with this. Say that you are calling because you believe you may qualify to file Form SSA-44 to request a reduction in your Medicare IRMAA surcharge due to a qualifying life event. Say that you would like to know what documentation to bring and whether you can schedule an appointment at the local office. Write down what they tell you before you hang up. SSA built this form for exactly the situation where retirement creates a gap between what the look-back shows and what someone actually earns now. Someone in the system understood the problem. They just did not build a notification system to tell you about the solution. But everything you have put together with this form depends on one part you cannot afford to skip. The income estimate is where people get into trouble. If your actual income for the year comes in above the number you gave SSA, they can recalculate and you may owe the difference in premiums back. Do not estimate low, hoping to get more relief than you are entitled to. Give them a realistic number and round up if you are uncertain. The IRMAA adjustment covers both Part B and Part D premiums. If you are also paying a Part D surcharge because of the same high income year, Form SSA-44 may address both at once. Ask your SSA representative to confirm that when you file, because Part D is administered through your drug plan and the coordination matters. Processing typically takes several weeks. Some people receive retroactive premium credits applied to future billing once the adjustment is processed. Ask about that when you file so you know what timeline to expect. If SSA denies your request, you have the right to appeal. Ask for the denial in writing. Ask the representative what documentation they would need to reconsider. The denial letter will describe the process. Do not let a first denial be the end of it without at least understanding why they said no. And never stop paying a Medicare premium while you wait for a review. The SSA-44 process runs alongside your regular premium schedule. Do not pause your payment expecting the form to cover it. The form that may lower your bill is 4 pages long. You only fill in 2 of them, and Form SSA-44 is one piece of what may be available to you. There are other programs, like the Medicare Savings Programs and Extra Help on Part D, that may apply depending on your income level. Those are separate videos. Today is about this one form. Form SSA-44 is a real form, available at ssa.gov. The 8 qualifying events are listed in the form instructions. The income brackets that determine your IRMAA surcharge are updated at medicare.gov each year. The phone number for Social Security is 1-800-772-1213. None of this is guaranteed, and I cannot tell you whether your specific situation will qualify. What I can tell you is that this check takes about 10 minutes. If you had a year where income was higher than usual and then it dropped, and if one of those 8 events applies to you, this form is worth your time. Check everything I have told you against the official source before you count on it. The current IRMAA brackets are at ssa.gov. The form is in the Form section of that same site. Your local Social Security office can tell you what to bring. If this helped you, subscribe and tell me in the comments which bill is hurting you most right now. I read every comment, and your question might be the next video. I will see you next week.
Before you go, everything I just walked you through, the form numbers, the offices, the exact words to say on the phone, I wrote all of it down. 3 plain English guides, organized by the form. They are at dalecorbinbenefits.com or scan the code on your screen. I am not a lawyer and I am not from the government. These do not promise you anything. They show you how to check in about 10 minutes before you pay another bill you might not owe.